Welcome to the series of videos of 2009 Audi S5 V8 manual. This is the part 1 where we're gonna take the front bumper off. And please remember, this car has been abused by previous owners, so some parts, connectors or fasteners might be a little bit different in your case. Please be aware of a fact, I'm not a certified mechanic, I'm just a DIYer, just like you probably, and when you do any work on the car, just follow the safety procedures, ideally by the manual. And also, if you have any comments, what could be done differently or better, faster, I really appreciate your help. So feel free to comment on the video below on any part of this series. Thank you. So first we're gonna disconnect the battery, the negative pole. That's a 10mm nut, and I'll put the shock rack around the connector. Also, I'm gonna put the shock rack at the trunk locking mechanism. I put the car on ramps and we're gonna take the wheel off and the liner from the wheel well to have an access to some bolts. The wheel bolts are 17mm hex. We'll start taking apart the intake system. So as you see, there are 10mm bolts, not usual for Audi, they're usually Torx T30. So that's the first abuse of the car. Then we're gonna disconnect small little vacuum hose in front of the engine, just pull it apart. Then unclip couple clips between intake box and intake pipe. Disconnect the electrical connector from the side of the air intake box and pull the air intake box straight up. And I forgot to mention, when I disconnected air intake box connector, I also disconnected mass airflow sensor. And now you can see one of the reasons why I'm pulling this engine out. Next we'll drain the coolant, so remove the blue cap of the coolant reservoir and go underneath the car. On the driver's side, right next to the main coolant hose, and on the thermostat housing, you will see a plastic screw. It might be the size of 12 or 13mm or ½ inch, so unscrew that one and let her back. Next, we're gonna remove headlamps. They are holding in there by 3 screws. First, second, and third is underneath this connector, right there. They're usually T30, same on the other side, but as you see, I have some mismatches here. Somebody tried to fix this bracket, and the second bracket is totally missing. So let's remove the headlamp, also from the other side. And I just wanted to show you there are 4 sliding tabs you should follow when removing headlamps or installing them back in. There is one, second, third, and one more, fourth. To remove the bumper, you have to go to the wheel well and remove 2 10mm fasteners, which you see I'm missing one. And on the other side, I have even different screw, different fastener, and a zip tie. And I recently received a post on other video on my channel where the person was mentioning those 2 10mm bolts, they can be removed when you remove your headlamp assembly, so you don't have to take the wheel off. Now I'm gonna remove the bolt on head assembly housing. You will find one bolt on each side. So we can keep going with disconnecting every other connectors from this housing. Just push on the tab and pull down, and you can remove this housing out. And also I'm gonna disconnect this hose from a headlamp spray jet nozzle assembly by pulling on this white plastic clip, which just went flying, so be careful and pull the hose out. And this is how the plastic clip looks like. While I'm on the passenger side, I'm gonna disconnect the connector for the horn, and also on the driver's side. But as you see, on the passenger side, this bracket for the horn is nice and straight, while on the driver's side is bent. Also on driver's side, this headlamp jet spray assembly is broken. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here, probably hit a deer or something. I have to replace this part for sure. And also the previous owner, he put a screw as a cap on the hose for that headlamp spray assembly. To be honest, I'm not sure if this shape of this front bumper support should be in a shape like this. I also want to point at the difference on this top part of the front bumper support. There is a little bracket, while on the passenger side there is none. When we look at the bracket of the oil cooler, it's broken. It's holding just barely in there on the passenger side, and if I show you the driver side, it's totally broken. So only those oil cooler hoses hold it in place. And also, as you see, there is some wiring harness, not sure what it is for, I have to find out, just zip tied to the front bumper support. In order to remove the bumper support, you need to remove three fasteners on each side. They're 16mm hex. So let's do that. And let's not forget about the connector to the AC system. As I try to remove this front bumper support, I realize its shape was not allowing me to remove it. So I have to unscrew two more nuts and bolts on one side and then pull it all out. Now let's remove this coolant plastic pipe going from the coolant reservoir to the radiator and slide it out through that opening in that radiator support. In order to remove that pipe, you need to pull on the metal clip and wiggle the hose out. Now the second coolant hose, main hose, on top of the radiator has to be disconnected. There is also this sliding pin. You have to pull on it and then wiggle the hose out. Just like that. In order to open the front end totally, we have to disconnect these two connectors on the main wiring harness to coolant fan assembly. And access for them is from the bottom of the car. And as you see, there is no air pump anymore, for those who know. And for those who don't, I will show you how I remove the air pump from the coolant radiator support a little bit later in this video. And for removing almost all these connectors, I'm using my pick, which I slide underneath the tap, slightly pull on it, and then push and pull on connector, and it goes out no problem. And as you see, these two connectors are key coded, so you cannot mismatch them to put them in different spot than they belong to. There are little notches on the outside of each connector, and that's the key, which would not allow you to put the connector in the wrong spot. We let the coolant drain out through that water pump housing assembly when we remove that little plastic screw, but that's not all of it. So let's remove the bottom hose of the radiator. Again, pull on the metal clip and wiggle the hose out. And I use a little bit of help of penetrating oil. And as we let the coolant drain out a little more, we're gonna take care about this oil cooler. And I will put some plastic bag underneath so I don't get any spills on my radiator. And now I can remove two hose clamps with my pliers and flathead screwdriver. Now move those hose clamps away and separate the hose from the pipe. And as I showed you earlier, this oil cooler is hanging there just very barely, so we can remove it, drain it out, store it in the safe place, and we're definitely gonna replace these two brackets. They are no good anymore. So now let's push these two hoses out through the radiator frame support. I'm gonna tape them together for now and put some ziplock on top so no dirt will introduce into the lines. There are a few more things holding us from opening the front end of the engine. One of them is the front hood cable. So for better view, I changed the angle. We have to pull on the cable on the driver's side and the square bucket on the passenger side, pull it apart just few millimeters and it will open up for you. Once you open the bracket, you will see at the end of the cable there is a little knob. You have to pull it out of that bracket and separate those two. Just like that. And again, for those who know, they know, but for those who don't, I'm missing a bracket which is holding another bracket to the frame of the radiator right there. Right there is missing piece. So you will probably find it in your car. And there is one more thing to pull apart, and that's the connector for the hood switch. And it's almost the same system like on any other connector on the car. And finally, get to the coolant reservoir. So there are 10mm nuts. Remove those. Obviously, the cap goes out. And we're gonna remove this aftermarket hose losing the clamp, draining the coolant into the reservoir, lift it up so the coolant drains down into the bucket, and we will disconnect this connector for coolant reservoir switch, or sensor I should say. And it's time to pull on that metal clip on the housing of the hose and wiggle the hose out. And as you can see, the bottom part of the coolant reservoir is pretty dirty. Almost time to open this thing up. Just because I have still AC system full, I cannot remove the front end completely. I'm gonna open it up only. And to do that, I need support for the radiator frame. So I'm using wooden blocks I have in my garage to match the height of the bottom of the radiator frame. Now this whole frame is holding only on Torx T30 bolts. So let's loosen them up. I will slightly lean against the radiator and move the radiator aside. Just like that. And I'm gonna put it on top of my wooden block structure here. Earlier I promised you that I'm gonna show you how I disassembled or removed the air pump from the car. So here it is.
This air pump is mounted on the radiator assembly with 3 bolts. So there is 1, 2 and 3, and they are 10mm bolts. And it's also connected to the air hose and obviously to the power. And the air hose is this style. To remove this hose, you have to squeeze this wider part of this end of the hose and you just pull it out. And obviously there is electrical connector, so even if you use a pick and go under the tab here, or you just press on the end of the tab on the other side, and it should work the way out. And I haven't looked into the manual or any documentation what this end of this air pump is for. I believe I'm missing there another pipe or another hose connected to it. We'll find out when we're gonna put this thing together. Just keep that in my mind before we install it so we can put it on as it's supposed to be.
We just brought in this AC sucker machine and we just realized that this AC system is totally empty, so we can disconnect those hoses, no problem, and move on.
Sorry for that noise from behind. There is a heater running. As we realized, there was empty AC system, so I can disconnect now these 2 connectors for the AC condenser and get those 2 radiators out of our way. Gonna use T30 for both bolts. So we're gonna replace both of these O-rings later on, and also these 2 bolts are the same length. I'm gonna put them back on where they belong, and this one goes here.
And to the end of the video, I just want to show you how the engine looks like, why I'm pulling the engine out. It was all oily, front side, one side, second side. It's just pouring oil from all over, possibly maybe a coolant, not sure about it, but oil for sure. So I think this is the hole which brings the oil from the oil filter housing into the front of the engine, even though front of the engine has nothing to do with oil leaks. So I don't think this is a great design, but it is what it is. I'll double check when I pull the top engine apart, and we'll see if there is any galley or whatever which leads oil leaking from the back to the front and making mess everywhere. There are some misfit connectors, misfit cables, wiring. It's gonna be a project, big project to put this car back together as it's supposed to be. I believe the main issue here is the oil housing or oil filter housing and those 2 little O-rings on the bottom. Also, as you see, a lot of zip ties, nothing in a place by the factory, or almost nothing. Wiring is like cooked. Probably barbecue was going on in here. Also, on the other side, those wires, they don't look really great. We have oil in the spark plug holes. Well, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to bring this engine back to life and looking normal. So as you see, dirt all over. Also, this coolant fan assembly is pretty dirty from that oil debris. What should I say? Yeah, the bottom of the engine is obviously wet, oily, dirty, messy. So that's the look from the bottom on the oil pan, a little bit further down on the steering rack, and also where the transmission connects to the engine above the X brake. That's pretty early right there, where the transmission connects right there. And I'm not really sure about that part of the cylinder head, where I'm missing something in that spot. And there is also hose connected to the intake housing, and there is lots of silicone. That thing is broken. That doesn't look really good. And I have one more threaded connection or threaded spot where there is nothing. It looks like there's supposed to be something. I have to find out from the manual or look into any documentation if it's missing something in here or not. And that's the end of it. Thanks very much for your time. I will do my best for the next part number 2, which is gonna be about pulling things apart or removing things on the top part of the engine from left and right hand side. And then the part 3 is gonna be the bottom part of the car.